Hello everyone, my name is Mark Weller. I'm a material scientist here at Pacific Northwest National Lab, and today I'll be showing you how we make prismatic cells in the GSL prismatic cell line. So to start with, we make our electrode slurry. This is basically a honey-like consistency of our active materials that we use to coat onto foils to make our electrodes. To do that, we use our large electrode coater, which is kind of the heart and soul of our prismatic line here. Essentially what we're doing is we're taking that viscous slurry, delivering it to the coating head, and we're running these electrode foils through and carrying that slurry into the drying section. Here we have copper, which we use for anodes, we use aluminum for cathodes, and we can versatilely switch between these with ease on the coating machine. We bring this through these various drying sections, which allow us to have a high degree of control over the thickness, the drying rate, and get good performance in our electrodes. From there, we take our coated electrodes through to the next stage, which is our calendaring machine. And that's this right here. Essentially, as you can see, this is two large rolling presses that we can heat to very controllably press and consolidate our coated electrodes to get them to the right thickness and the right porosity and make sure that we get good performance at the end. From there, we'll take it off and bring it over to our slitting machine. So the slitting machine kind of gets us two for the price of one, where we take our coated and calendared electrodes, run them through this circular knife, which you can see here inside of this slitting machine. This splits the electrodes in half and gets us two spools that we can use down the line to get closer to assembling our cells. From there, once we have our slitted electrodes, we're going to the notching machine. Essentially what this is a large hydraulic press that punches the electrodes to the correct shape, cuts them, and stacks them up so that we can use them to actually assemble our batteries. So what we can see here, again, is we have some of our copper anode. This is graphite on that anode. If we look inside here, we have this large press, which we use to punch notches, get our electrode tabs to the right shape, and then cut them to the desired size. We have our little robot that picks them up and stacks them up for us. And at this stage, we have an actual electrode that we'll use to assemble into our cells. From there, once we have several hundred of these electrodes all stacked up into these magazines, we load them into our Z stacking machine. So right here you can see our cathodes and our anodes, and we have another highly automated pick and place robot that essentially picks up and stacks these electrodes, putting separator in between so that they don't short circuit, winds them all up, and gets us what we like to call the jelly roll, which is now the core of our battery. So here we have a jelly roll. This is the product that comes out of the Z stacking machine. We'll take it to our hot press and insulation test machine that consolidates it, make sure there's no internal short circuits between the anode and cathode. And from there we can take it over here where we're going to do our tab welding. So this ultrasonic welding machine welds all of these individual tabs together so that all the cathodes and all the anodes are connected to each other. And once we do that weld, we'll do a second ultrasonic weld where we take that pre-welded, trimmed set of tabs and weld this bus bar onto each of those sets of anodes and cathodes. This is actually the cap of the prismatic cell, and when this is welded together, we're able to take it to the next step where we seal it inside of a can and form a dry cell where we laser weld to make a good seal. So this is our first laser welder. One of our staff will place this inside, we hit go, our 4.5 kilowatt laser makes a nice weld around the outside to seal the jelly roll with the cap to the actual cell can. From there, we need to make sure that the seal is good. We take it to our vacuum leak testing machine. This pulls high vacuum on our electrolyte filling port here on the top of the case. This makes sure that we have a seal, the battery's not going to fail in any way due to a bad seal. After that, we fill with electrolyte, and at this stage, it's now starting to become an actual battery. We actually have the electrolyte in there, which allows the electrodes to be connected to each other. Once filled, we give it a nice soak in our soaking machine, which is basically a custom oven that we can pull vacuum or put an inert gas inside, and this allows us to infiltrate all that electrolyte into the pores of the electrodes and ensure that we have good contact. From here, the battery is actually ready to begin testing. And so to do that, we do a pre-charge formation cycle. Essentially, this is using electrochemistry to controllably decompose some of the electrolyte and make a nice interface on the surface of all the electrodes. We can do this in a controllable way, and we do this in a way that allows us to catch the off gases that inherently come off when we're doing battery cycling. So in our pre-charge machine, we have 16 channels, so we can do pretty high throughput of cell assembly. And you can see in here, we can load up those sealed cells. We keep the port open so we can pull a vacuum and actually pull out all of those off gases to get good activation of the cell and make sure there's no pressure built up before we actually finalize the cell with a final laser weld. Once we seal that filling port, the cell's assembled, and we can go take it, do testing, and start our research.